Maya Angelou is a poet, author, dancer, civil rights activist, and memoirist. She's best known for her writings, which included deep topics such as the Black experience, feminism, and abuse, told through intricate metaphors and analogies. Her efforts have set the Black community forward by miles, and she's won many awards for her talents. She has continued to be praised for her efforts even after her passing in 2014. Maya Angelou, birth name Margaret Ann Johnson, was born to Bailey and Vivian Baxter Johnson, Bailey being a naval dietitian and Vivian being a nurse, on April 4, 1929 in St. Louis, Missouri. She and her older brother went to visit her grandmother in Stamps, Arkansas after her parents divorced when she was 3 years old. Her brother, Bailey Jr., adopted the name Maya for her, meaning my sister. When visiting her mother at age 7, Maya was raped by her mom's boyfriend. When she spoke out about it, her uncles killed him. Feeling that her voice was the cause for his murder, she became mute for several years. She returned to Arkansas and remained in that silence. During this period, her sense of sight and hearing, as well as memorization, improved. This also sparked her love for literature. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, the first in a seven-book series written in 1969, tells the story of Maya's early years dealing with her sexual trauma, as well as racism. The poem has the voice of a strong woman channeling her troubles from childhood and putting them into words. It tells of two birds, one free and one caged. The caged bird sings in response to its caged state to cope and express its desire for freedom. Growing out of her mutism and into her teen years, Maya found her passion for performance arts, specifically singing and dancing. She moved to San Francisco with her family in 1940, where she had an opportunity to study performance arts at California Labor School. In the 50s, she toured Europe and poured Jane Best and released her album Miss Calypso in 1957. Maya Angelou lived in Africa for some years in the early 60s, where she would meet Nelson Mandela in 1962. He recited her poem Still I Rise at his inauguration in 1994. She moved from Egypt to Ghana's capital, Accra, where she taught, wrote, and performed. She taught at the University of Ghana School of Music and Drama. She aided in editing papers that were translated into English. In 1964, she met Malcolm X when he was visiting Ghana and returned to the States to aid him in building his new organization, the Organization of African American Unity. Upon his assassination in 1965, she began working with Martin Luther King Jr. Maya claims that King reminded her of her older brother, Bailey. She helped him with an organization he was a part of. The SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, helped to coordinate local organizations working toward equality and civil rights. Angela served as a Northern coordinator for the New York office. She also helped raise funds from the Caravan for Freedom, a review. SCLC is still on today, and they focus on community as well as socioeconomic issues in race and injustice. In her activism, she wrote Still I Rise in 1978. It's a poem about how she won't let the prejudice of society bring her down. She will always get back up, never letting the color of her skin hold her back from opportunity and growth. She compares her strength to the moon and sun, how they'll always come back the next day, no matter what, and how she laughs like she's got gold mines. Along with civil rights activism, she was also a feminist and pro-women's rights. Phenomenal Woman, written in 1995, tells of being empowered by the fact that you are a woman and to not think that you're a lesser than due to the stigmas of society. No matter if you're deemed unattractive or unfashionable by societal standards, you are beautiful and worthy is the message that she sends. Maya states how she knows that she is beautiful as a woman despite being black. With all of her writings also came screenplays. She wrote for the movie Georgia, Georgia, which is about a black singer, Georgia Martin, played by Diana Sands, that falls for white photographer Michael Winters, played by Dirk Benedict in Sweden. This is very significant because Maya was the first woman to write a script for a film, which was also the first script that she'd written, that got a feature-length movie as a black woman, making history. More history is being made by Maya, as she became the second poet in history to read a poem at a presidential inauguration, the first black person and the first woman. She read her poem on the pulse of the morning at former President Bill Clinton's first inauguration on January 20th, 1993. In 1994, she won a Grammy for this poem in the Best Spoken Words category. She was yet again awarded in 2000. Bill Clinton honored Maya by giving her the National Medal of Arts. This award is a coveted American honor, earned by contributing greatly to the growth, development, and availability of art in the United States. Even after this, Maya and Clinton had remained in touch as they both had respect for one another. However, this was not the first time she was given a presidential award. In 2010, she was bestowed the highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama. During the ceremony, Obama said she has inspired countless others who have known injustice and misfortune in their own lives, and how she rose with an unbending determination to fight for civilian rights and inspire every one of us to recognize and embrace the possibility and potential we each hold. From 1969 to 2013, Angela has published 7 autobiographies depicting her life as a child and her experiences as a Black woman. The series starts with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and ends with Mom and Me and Mom. The third installment, Singing and Swinging and Getting Married Like Christmas, marked the first time a famous Black autobiographer wrote a third book about their life. Maya was a religious person. She says that religion is in her spirit and is what her spirit is built on. The teachings of Christ to her are so accessible. When she really became invested in her work, she found God's guidance, and when she comprehended, internalized, and ingested the fact that she was a child of God, she became courageous. Biblical references can be found in many of her writings. Many don't know about the illness that ultimately led to her passing, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The symptoms include fatigue, breathlessness, and coughing. Even though these sound simple, they make everyday tasks difficult to complete. Towards the end of her life, she had to use a walker or wheelchair to get around, and had a collapsed lung and was in need of oxygen. On May 28, 2014, Maya Angelou passed. Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama, and former President Bill Clinton, amongst many others, were present at her funeral. Her last recorded words were, "There are people who go through life burdened by ignorance because they refuse to see. When they do not recognize the truth that they belong to their community and the community belongs to them, it is because they refuse to see." Even though she had been resting for nearly 8 years, her legacy still transcends into today, and she is the woman to thank for the many contributions to the Black community and American society. Her teachings of love, prosperity, equality, beauty, and Black excellence are still apparent. She wasn't afraid to tell of how she came of age in America, how she never let the many obstacles stop her, and how she gained success. In honoring her, a quarter will be made with her face on it. It will be shipped from 2022 to 2025, and she'll once again be making history, as she will be the first Black woman to appear in a quarter. It features a young Maya with outstretched arms, the sun beaming behind her, and a bird accompanying her, a reference to I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Maya Angelou is regarded as one of the most influential people from the 20th century and is widely respected.